Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Punaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahe Tejasvinavadidamastu Ma Vidvishavahe. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Do you sometimes feel as if you lack the strength to go on? You lack the strength to accomplish what you need to move through problems, and you feel as if you just can't handle any more upsets. Today's episode is for you. It's about tapping into your strength in the form of feminine strength, which I will talk about. Namaste and welcome to the Spiritual Wealth Podcast. I'm your host, Alexandra Savitri Amba, director of the American Reiki Academy, Los Angeles' oldest Reiki school, and the Vedic Healing Center. I'm a Reiki master, Vedic Healing master, clairaudient channel, and healer. For more than 35 years, I've taught thousands of people healing and spiritual development, and led beautiful pilgrimages to India, where I've had the blessing of studying with revered teachers and gurus. In this podcast, we explore Reiki, Vedic healing, metaphysics, manifestation, and feng shui, as well as the spiritual principles that help us live with greater wisdom, purpose, and joy. The aim of this podcast is to help you awaken, develop, and tap into your spiritual power in order that you may live well, manifest your dreams, and ultimately fulfill your unique, divine destiny by working from the inside out. It all begins with energy. Welcome to this episode, which is on tapping into your spiritual power, your inner strength. And this is a continuation of the experiential offerings that I've been doing here. I've done 2 of them so far. One was about removing obstacles. The other one was about releasing what no longer serves you. And this one is about awakening your inner strength. So I will, in the same kind of format, I'm going to talk about what this can mean for you. And then I'm going to recite a series of mantras, which are sacred sound vibrations that have been used for thousands of years to awaken courage, to strengthen you, to offer spiritual protection, and help us encounter challenges with confidence, resilience, and grace. Now, before we begin, I want to talk about how every day presents us with challenges, and sometimes I might venture to say that these days the stress level feels higher than it is. Now, I'm not sure sometimes if this is just a matter of perception and sensitivity, or if it's really a fact, because sometimes if you think back on things that your parents have said or things you've heard about previous generations, you'll hear people saying that the world started moving very fast. And so really this is probably a function of technology moving forward, developments moving forward, and those interacting with our energy fields. So it's a little bit of both. It's a little bit of, yes, it's a reality, and also this has always happened. Now, does that mean that we discount what's happening? No, it means, of course, that we must learn to adapt, because we are here living in these bodies on this earth at this time. And there's also the idea that we have chosen, this is another topic for discussion, but we have chosen to incarnate, to be here at this time. Each soul comes at different times on the earth. If you believe in reincarnation, I'll just get into this a tiny bit, that we come over and over to learn lessons, and we incarnate at certain times according to what we need to learn and experience. So there is the idea that we have come here at this time for our own growth, and we have chosen to be here on some level. There are lessons that we need to learn, and therefore we come into certain families, ethnic groups. We're born in certain areas so that we may encounter growth. Now, this is sometimes difficult to fathom if something very harsh is happening to someone. But if I've heard gurus speak about the overall picture of the soul's journey, so we cannot know where that soul has traveled, what that soul is still needing to call forth in some way or experience, or whom they are supposed to interact with. This is a little bit of a discussion of karma, actually. So, but I don't want to get into that, because karma actually exists in different levels also. So it's not that you did something wrong and therefore you're being punished. But rather just to start thinking about your journey as a soul, as being complicated, as being intricate, and as being full of the mysterious. Why you're here, why you were born at a certain time, why you were born in a certain family or a certain place on the earth, and what it has to offer you, even when the situation may seem quite difficult. So today's episode is about dealing with the challenges that arise. Now, you may have a series of really good days and say, life is great, life is going my way, I'm so happy, and then something happens and it shifts you off kilter, and it challenges that happiness. So a few days ago, I did an episode called Can You Stand in the Complexity of Life and Still Be Peaceful? So today's episode is a little bit about that, but it's also about an extension of that concept. It's about remaining in life, because we have no choice. We are here. We cannot escape. We cannot run away. We are still, no matter where we go, even if you take your body somewhere else, you will still be here on this earth until you are not. So can you stand today in the problems of life, or can you encounter those problems with strength? So not so much peace, although peace is there, and peace is going to be very integral to you gaining the strength that you need. But can you now navigate this day and remain strong? Now, strong doesn't necessarily mean forceful. It doesn't necessarily mean aggressive, and it doesn't have to mean angry. It can in some circumstances, but we all know that when we get agitated, when we get angry, we don't feel so good afterwards. There's that expression that my blood was boiling. I mean, who wants to live like that? We don't really want to live like that. And yet sometimes we are challenged and all of this energy rises up and the anger comes out and we say we feel our blood boiling. So what we're doing with our spiritual practice is we're actually channeling all that energy inside of us and transmuting it into qualities that will better serve us, such as peace, balance, strength, and not the qualities that make our blood boil. Why should that happen? Now, here's the interesting thing. I have seen swamis and gurus move into a bit of anger, but I would never really describe it as anger per se. It's an interesting observation because you see the potential anger and then you see, just like a parent, you see the swami or the guru course correct the situation with strength, with balance, and he or she is not affected. I would never say, oh, I saw that swami and he reprimanded that person who was doing something that was really not good. And his blood was boiling. You could see that. I wouldn't really say that. Although in the Vedic tradition, we have the brilliant examples of the deities who are forms of the divine, and we sometimes see all the wrath come up and how it gets channeled for something good to occur. So this is my point. The person channeling that energy that has to come up does not allow it to affect him or her. So today is about the times in your life in which something happens and you maybe start to feel your blood boiling, or let's move away from anger, because maybe you start to feel upset, off balance, panicky, mind racing, shaky even. You start to feel this in your body and it's so uncomfortable, and we know it's the opposite of the energy that we're generating when we're doing our spiritual practices. So after a beautiful sequence of yoga asanas, you feel calm and peaceful. After a beautiful meditation practice, you feel serene. You feel, I'm thinking of the adjectives, you feel very present, and you feel quite focused. Your mind is alert, but calm and still. And after giving a Reiki session or receiving a Reiki session, these same attributes are present in the energy field of, and I'll diverse a second, I'm going to say, of the practitioner and the recipient. So it's such an interesting aspect of Reiki because the energy passes through you. It is naturally helping your own energy field as you work on someone else. You can work on yourself as well. You can do self-healing. And I do self-healing every morning. But if you're working on other people, yes, that energy is affecting you too. So you have kind of a double benefit because you're helping someone else and you're also helping yourself. And self-healing is the first avenue we take in healing work. So if something has happened in your life or may happen, we don't know, because every day is going to give us challenges. And sometimes I've had experiences where something upsetting happens late at night. And I'm going to tell you, it usually happens through communication with the outside world. So what this means is reading an email that is upsetting, seeing something in the news on TV or on the internet that upsets you, and most of all, your phone. So receiving a text message late at night, that is not so, that may be challenging for you. All the time, this input is coming from the outside world. And so this is why also in the Vedic tradition, we preserve very well the cycle, the natural cycle of the body, and we allow it to rise in the early morning. And when it's peaceful, we do our practice. We tap into that energy, and then we perform our duties and our work when the sun is high. And then as the sun sets, we start to wind down. And that would include shutting off the phone. It's not only the mental stimulation, which also wakes up the pineal gland and keeps you alert, and mixes up the circadian rhythms, potentially. But it's also what you may see on that phone that upsets you. So why end the day in upset? Now, today's offering is for those times or that particular issue that you have right now that is where you potentially feel weak. You feel like, I cannot deal with this. I don't know how to deal with this. It feels beyond me. And this is for helping you tap into feminine power. And before I chant, the last thing I want to express is in the Vedic tradition, we have male power and feminine power, masculine and feminine, yin and yang, and they combine to make one whole presence. So everything is a combination of male and female. If you're listening to this and you're not a woman, you still can benefit from these chants. This is tapping into your feminine strength. Now, your feminine strength is different from your masculine strength. So whereas the masculine may be a bit more forceful and in your face and obvious, feminine strength may be quiet, may be sitting below the surface. Sometimes people accuse women of being sneaky. They may accuse anyone of being sneaky, but women have naturally learned how to work with energy, not just their physical strength. So they have learned how to develop really interesting skills that sometimes stay hidden until they emerge. And you, as a being, whether you're in a male or female body, you have this capacity also. So some of your strength will be displayed in the world, and people say, oh, she or he is a very strong person. And some of it will be kept in reserve. Just think you're playing a card game. Life is a card game. So some of your hand is revealed, and some of it is held back until the right time when you put that, whatever it is, on the table. You put I haven't played cards in a long time, so you put your 4 aces on the table or whatever, and they say, oh my gosh, I had no idea she was holding that in her hand. So the discernment to keep that strength in check and to keep it, maybe hidden isn't the right word, but to just keep it inside, to keep it and use it in a way that is appropriate at the right time. And again, this doesn't mean taking a sword out and cutting off someone's head, but using it in a way that is wise, that is, I was going to say cautious. I'm thinking of the right word. Calculating. And calculating has a bad connotation, but discerning, let's say. So today is all about feminine strength. For you to tap into this strength and to keep it inside of you and use it when it is appropriate. Now, what happens when we listen to this chanting? When we listen to this chanting, these chants wash over us and affect us. I've said in other episodes, it is not necessary to even know the history, the meaning, the use, the pronunciation of the mantras. It is a phenomenon that even if a mantra falls upon your ears, you derive benefit. So this is my offering to you. This is my offering to the universe for all the people who are suffering and who have maybe been born into or are unfortunate circumstances, challenging circumstances, or who are going through challenging circumstances, that you may derive the strength that is within you that you need to then navigate your way to something higher in your life, to something better, so to something that is more respectful. If you're in a situation that is not respectful, that is more peaceful for you, that is more honoring, that is more in alignment with you. Sometimes, like when we're looking for a new place to live, we look and we look and we look and we're trying to look for, you've heard this phrase, a vibrational match. So you always want a vibrational match, but there are going to be also little elements that sometimes are not perfect and that sometimes we have to deal with. And this is where we tap into our many varied inner resources to deal with whatever is occurring. And also to know if you are in a situation right now that you feel is not healthy for you any longer, to have the amazing fortitude to embrace it and say, thank you for teaching me. And now I choose to create something different, whether it's within that circumstance or because there's always the chance that that circumstance can evolve and change, or you attracting something higher, something better for you. So wherever you are, if you like, you can sit back or you can just listen. As I said in the previous episodes, it's not necessary for you to be sitting still. This is not a guided meditation. It is an offering that you can listen to. But I do invite you, if you like, to think of a situation in your life in which you need some amazing feminine strength, courage, power. Om Shriye Namaha. Om Umaye Namaha. Om Bharatye Namaha. Om Bhadraye Namaha. Om Sharvanye Namaha. Om Vijjaye Namaha. Om Jayaye Namaha. Om Vanye Namaha. Om Sarvagataye Namaha. Om Gaurye Namaha. Om Varahe Namaha. Om Kamalapriyaye Namaha. Om Sarasvatye Namaha. Om Kamalaye Namaha. Om Meyaye Namaha. Om Matangye Namaha. Om Aparaye Namaha. Om Ajjaye Namaha. Om Shankabarye Namaha. Om Shivaye Namaha. Om Chandaye Namaha. Om Kundalye Namaha. Om Vaishnavye Namaha. Om Kriyaye Namaha. Om Shriye Namaha. Om Aindraye Namaha. Om Madhumatye Namaha. Om Girijaye Namaha. Om Subhagaye Namaha. Om Ambikaye Namaha. Om Taraye Namaha. Om Padmavatye Namaha. Om Hansaye Namaha. Om Padmanabha Sahodari Namaha. Om Aparnaye Namaha. Om Lalitaye Namaha. Om Datriye Namaha. Om Kumari Namaha. Om Shikavahinye Namaha. Om Shambhavye Namaha. Om Sumukye Namaha. Om Maitriye Namaha. Om Trinetraye Namaha. Om Vishvarupinye Namaha. Om Aryaye Namaha. Om Riddhanye Namaha. Om Himkarye Namaha. Om Krodinye Namaha. Om Sudinaye Namaha. Om Achalaye Namaha. Om Sukshmaye Namaha. Om Paratparaye Namaha. Om Shobhaye Namaha. Om Sarvavarnaye Namaha. Om Harapriyaye Namaha. Om Mahalakshmi Namaha. Om Mahasiddhaye Namaha. Om Svadaye Namaha. Om Svahaye Namaha. Om Manonmanye Namaha. Om Trilokapalinya Namaha. Om Udbhutaye Namaha. Om Trisandhyaye Namaha. Om Tripurantakye Namaha. Om Trishaktiye Namaha. Om Tripadaye Namaha. Om Durgaye Namaha. Om Brahmaye Namaha. Om Trailokavasinye Namaha. Om Pushkaraye Namaha. Om Matrisutaye Namaha. Om Buddhaye Namaha. Om Trivarnaye Namaha. Om Trisvaraye Namaha. Om Trigunaye Namaha. Om Nirgunaye Namaha. Om Satyaye Namaha. Om Nirvikalpaye Namaha. Om Niranjanye Namaha. Om Jwalinye Namaha. Om Malinye Namaha. Om Charjaye Namaha. Om Kravya Dopani Barhinye Namaha. Om Kamakshe Namaha. Om Kamenye Namaha. Om Kantaye Namaha. Om Kamadaye Namaha. Om Kalahansinye Namaha. Om Salajaye Namaha. Om Kulajaye Namaha. Om Pragye Namaha. Om Prabhaye Namaha. Om Madana Sundarye Namaha. Om Vagishvarye Namaha. Om Vishalakshye Namaha. Om Sumangalye Namaha. Om Kalye Namaha. Om Maheshwarye Namaha. Om Chandye Namaha. Om Bhairavye Namaha. Om Bhuvaneshwarye Namaha. Om Nityaye Namaha. Om Sananda Vibhavaye Namaha. Om Satyagyanaye Namaha. Om Tamopahaye Namaha. Om Maheshvara Priyam Karye Namaha. Om Mahatripura Sundare Namaha. Om Durga Parameshwari Namaha. May you encounter this day with wisdom, with strength, with power, with grace. Om Asatoma Sagamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Om Sai Ram. Jai Guruji. Om Amriteshware Namaha. Hare Krishna. Om Namah Shivaya.